Hey guys, DJ here with GameTime Michigan, and right now I am talking to our GGP Detroit 2024 top 8 competitor, Alex. Alex finished in top 8 here, and we're just going to chat with him for a second and learn about the deck he chose and a little bit about him. So do you want to talk for a minute about yourself, like what got you into Yu-Gi-Oh, how long you've been playing, your kind of accomplishments, that kind of stuff?
I played Yu-Gi-Oh with starter deck Kaiba and Yugi with just kind of family members, friends, classmates. That was in my youth, like around 10 years old or so. I never did anything competitive. I didn't have a locals. I lived in a rural area, so there was like no card shops. The only closest one was like an hour away, so it's hard to convince anyone to drive you an hour to go play locals. So just playground stuff. I didn't really do anything other than with the Yu-Gi-Oh until I got to like college, and I played on Dueling Network. And then when Dueling Network got shut down, I stopped. And then I kind of at some point randomly discovered Go, and then I've kind of slowly kind of progressed into it. I kind of on and off. This is the kind of like first time I've actually gotten a little bit more into the competitive scene. I've mostly been doing casual things, but now I'm kind of doing a little bit more to try to play in competitive stuff with GGP. So this is my third one. I came to GameTime Michigan last year for that one. That was my first GGP. Then last week or a couple weeks ago, I went to Chicago.
How'd you finish in Chicago?
I got 10th, so just missed out on
Just
top
out on
8.
breakers.
Got 4-2, and then over here I got 4-2 as well. I finished in 9th, but because we did 16, I was able to actually make playoffs. So
Okay, so let's talk about your deck a little bit. What deck did you choose to pilot today, your different kind of card choices and everything?
all right, so we chose to go with Earth Aggro today. It's going to be mostly standard, just a few different choices, and then a little bit in the side deck that's a bit different. With Earth Aggro, we're only playing 2 Goblin Attack Forces, something that I've been criticized a lot for before. A lot of people think that this deck has to have 3. The reason why I play 2 is that I don't like opening where my only monster is Goblin Attack Force, especially if I'm going second, have to basically attack into a set monster. If I do that, I basically just lose all momentum in the game. Having a monster go into defense, I can crash over it with almost anything. I don't play battle traps other than like Mirror Force or I guess Rain to protect Goblin Attack Force, and then I still got to wait another turn. It puts me in this really weird situation where I want to summon Goblin Attack Force and attack something and just kill it, not have to start out with it. So that's what we're doing with that. Then 2 Berserk Gorilla. So basically one is just to basically side out or kind of substitute for the Goblin Attack Force. This gets a bit better board pressure. It's also just kind of a replacement for Giant Rat because we are not playing Giant Rats in this deck. 3 Gigantes, that's just pretty standard. DD Assailant 3 as well, that's standard. And then some Rota targets with Exiled and Mystic Swordsman level 2. And then just the Injection Fury Lily as a raw, having to search for it with the rats. And then the non-Earths are going to be Ninja Grandmaster Sasuke. This is basically required because we're not running the Goblin Attack Force, so we have kind of less bodies to kill GK Spies with, so this is a good Rota search. The nice thing about this too is that this does have the possibility of killing both GK Spies if it does get flipped up. That's something Goblin Attack Force can't do. It doesn't always do it, but it has the possibility. Bad thing is that it's light, so rotating for this can be sometimes detrimental with not being able to play Gigantes. Then we have Kaiku. Also, this is good for the random Spirit Reapers that have been kind of being running around. I see them in zombie decks that have been kind of being played a little bit more, and then things like Go Control and Warriors will sometimes play like a side deck Spirit Reaper or even main deck, so this is a lot better for killing those than Goblin Attack Force I can. Kaiku's a little bit weird sometimes in this deck, but when it hits really well. When it doesn't, it's just kind of like sitting there bricky, like it's not soup proof and it's kind of low stat, but if you're banishing stuff with it or just preventing your opponent from summoning chaos, then it just works amazing. And then the other ones are just standard. You got Breaker, Tribe, and DD Warrior Lady. That makes for 5 non-Earths in the deck, which is, I wouldn't go any farther than 5. You go any more than 5, it gets really uncomfortable with being Gigantes bricked and not having targets to banish for Gigantes. At 4, it's really comfortable. At 5, you can still sometimes have it, but 5 is the most I would go. Then on 2 Spells and Traps. 2 Rhoda. This is basically 3rd or 4th Trinity for Warriors or any deck that runs Earth. You just got such a big toolbox with Warrior monsters that can get you out of jams with Exiled, Mystic Swordsman, DD Assailant, DD Warrior Lady. It just all works so well. knock, smashing grounds, just 2. I don't do 3. I think 3 is excessive. It's kind of not that great against turbo. 1 MST, 1 heavy, snatch, prima, duo, pot. That's
All the fun, good staples, right?
All the stuff everybody plays. And then we got to the traps. So you got pretty much your trap trinity, except no torrential tribute. I used to main it, and then I've noticed other Earth aggro players not playing it because you do commit a lot to the board, and having torrential on your side of the field isn't always a great value. So I put it in the side deck because it does help with goats and Thousand Eyes Restrict and stuff like that. But just side deck right now, and these 3 are being played. 3 Dust Tornado. It's a little heavy on the Dust Tornadoes, like pretty heavy on the back row destruction with these, the Heavy Storm, the Mystical Space Typhoon, and the Breaker. But this does give you something to set. With this deck, you don't set a lot of back row. So like you got these 3 traps and then a Mystical Space Typhoon, and then you're not really setting much. You are playing 3 Trap Dust Shoot. I think this is just kind of mandatory at this point. It's just too good against turbo and other things, and then you can side it out, like usually side out at least 1 against turbo when you're going second, just so that you don't have to brick draw it later on as much. But just really I think you just have to kind of play 3 trap dash shoot at this point. And then the side deck.
You gotta have some spicy stuff in that side deck, right?
A little bit. You got 1 Jinzo. This used to be a Mobius. I want the Jinzo instead because it just does way better against Warriors, and it still performs well against Burn and some rogue decks, so like Lockdown Burn or Pac-Man, things like that. The reason why I really like Jinzo is that you have both Call the Haunted and Premature in your main deck, and it's just such a good target for both those cards, especially against Warriors. You can discard it with the Graceful, or if it just gets solemned by your opponent with the Warriors, you can call it back and then you shut down all those trap cards. I mean, Warriors are running like 15 trap cards now, so having this out in the field can really just kind of shut down their deck. 3 Wangu is basically required. 1 Archer, that's for the burn. 1 Kinetic, that's for Warriors. I just subbed this out for Mystic Swordsman because no one sets with Warriors, so it's just an easy swap out. 1 Mystic Swordsman level 2, I put this in over Mind Control because I like it better than Mind Control. With Mind Control, you can hit Sangan, you can hit Spy, or the Spy and flip it, and not have any targets, and they still got a 2000 defender. You can hit Serpents. With this, if it gets killed, you can always bring it back again with like the Premature Burial and the Call of the Haunted. If it doesn't get killed, and it does kill a Sangan, doesn't get much effect, it's still on the field, and they still have to deal with it. So a lot of times they'll have to summon a Koichi or a Spy just to kill it because they can't set it in front of this guy. Just a lot better than Minecon, I believe. But I do still play 1 Minecon. I'll sub this out. It's just kind of like for sometimes like a Trap Dust Shoot or maybe a Smashing Ground, just kind of depending on if I'm going first or second. Brain Control, this pairs really well with Jinzo. This is really good in aggro matchups too, or just decks that are playing Solemn Judgment. They get low, you Brain Control their monster, you summon out of one of your beaters, and you got a bunch of damage, and you can go for life point damage. Walk for burn, and then I guess my most spiciest is going to be the CE.
That is some unique tech right there.
This is for goat control, so you use this to target Thousand Eyes Restrict, and then also for creature swap. You can save your own monster, or you can just bounce their recruiter, their Mystic Tomato, back to their hand. You can use this with Gaff too. If it's in defense, they try to creature swap it or something, bounce it back to your hand. Now you can summon it again, and attack with it again. I really like this a lot. It didn't come up at all. I faced goat control in round 1, and then beat them in both or 2-0'd them, and I didn't even know it was goat control because I didn't see the goats in game 1, so I didn't side this hand even. And then only 2 Saku. I probably needed 3. All my losses today were against basically, were against aggro. So I had 2 losses to Warrior and 1 loss to Earth aggro, and then I went 3-0 against Turbo. So maybe need more battle traps to help me with those, and then the 1 torrential tribute. So that's the full deck profile.
Okay. And what did you think about the tournament today? Did you have fun?
Yeah, it was great. I had a great time. It was pretty smooth. Kind of worn out now, but Looking
enough.
forward to be done and getting home.
Yep. Do you got any shout outs before we let you go here?
I'll shout out Necromancy and the casual Go Format Discord. Just a fun place to play some different cards, different style of games. Just instead of playing turbo mirrors, until your eyes bleed, you can try to mix it up and play some light fairies or play some only water monster tournaments, things like that. So just have some fun. And then shout out to DJ and GameTime Michigan for hosting.
Thanks. Well, thanks for coming to play today. Congratulations on your top 8, and thanks for sitting down doing the deck profile with me and the little interview here, Alex.
All right, thank you.